Hi guys, today we are having art class outside on my balcony. The reason we're out here is because this is where my compost bin is. Composting is when you take plants and vegetables and put them in a pile outside and let them decompose or break down instead of putting them in the trash can. Your compost pile can be in a container like mine is, or it can just be in the corner of your yard. Today is special because we're going to feed the worms that are living in my compost bin. Should we check and see if they're awake right now? Here, let's see. We gotta dig around for them. Oh, here's one now. Check him out. What should we name him? I'm gonna put him back because it's time for them to eat. So in this jar, I have the food for the worms. It's just banana peels and a little tomato that was rotting that I cut up. And so it's in tiny little pieces for the worms to eat. So how you feed the worms and put stuff on a compost pile is you break it down, and then you sprinkle it across the top, and you gotta make sure it's even all the way across. Then I need to put dirt on top. I'm gonna grab some of it and sprinkle it on. And that's how you feed the worms. Can you think of some things other than bananas and tomatoes that I could feed my worms? When you're thinking about things that could be healthy for the worms or the dirt, you want to think about things that are healthy for you to eat too. Just like vegetables and some fruits. Those are things that worms and dirt need too to be healthy. Our learning target today is I can make art about composting by using parallel lines to make tunnels and worms, using lots of colors to draw layers of dirt and food scraps, and coloring carefully.
Before we get started, you'll need a piece of paper and something to draw with. First thing we're going to do according to our learning target is we're going to make our tunnels using parallel lines. Parallel lines are lines that never cross and they just run beside each other forever and ever. So I'm going to start at the very edge of my paper. And I'm going to go down. And you can make your tunnels however you want. It's totally up to you. Now I'm going to make my walking beside line. Walking beside my parallel line. I think I'm going to make it a branch off. I'm going to make one go down maybe. And again, you can do whatever you want for your tunnels. It's up to you. Remember, I have to do my parallel or my walking beside line all the way to the edge. Maybe I'll make one go up this way now. All the way to the edge of my paper. Walking beside line. Walking beside line. All right, cool. You can make more if you want. It's totally up to you. Now I'm gonna make my worms. So my worms are kind of smushy, but they're also parallel lines. So I'm gonna do a wiggly line. And then I'm gonna do walking beside, parallel line, wiggly line. And guess what? We just need to make a cap on each of those. Connect them with a curved line. Let's make another one. Now you can make them different sizes, so we can have a mommy worm, a daddy worm, and a baby worm. And maybe a grandpa worm if you want. Let me make a baby worm. Now let's do the walking beside and parallel line. Connect them. Now I'm gonna make the grandpa worm, ready? Big wiggly line, big curved line, big curved line. Now I need to connect them with a curved line. Connect them with a C. Make a littler worm. Make a little baby. Do my little walking beside line. You can make as many or as few worms as you want. I'm gonna add one more to mine. I'm gonna add one down over here. Curved line, parallel line, connect to them. Now we need to add some texture to our worms. So worms kind of have these lines on them. So I'm gonna make some curved lines on my worm. Some curved lines, curved lines, curved lines. If we just made them straight, it wouldn't make it look like our worm is real. We have to make them curved so it looks like they're 3D. Curved lines, and it doesn't matter if you have a lot or a few. And notice how I'm not trying to make mine perfect. That's because worms' curved lines all bend all over the place. Go ahead and add curved lines to all your worms. Okay, now it's time for us to draw the second part of our learning target, which is the layers of dirt and food. So let's make some little cubes. I'm gonna make some squares. This is representing all of the food we cut up to put in our bins. Notice how I'm making some little and some big. That's called variety, and that means that our drawing will look better and our eyes will like it more if there's a lot of different size shapes. Now let's do another layer. Maybe let's do some cubes. Maybe I'm gonna add some lettuce. Maybe some curved shapes. Remember, we're using a variety of shapes. Now it's time for us to color our worm drawing. I'm going to use colored pencil sticks, but you can use whatever you have available. The first thing I'm going to color is my worms. When worms aren't covered in dirt, they're kind of a light pink color. So I'm going to use red. I don't have pink, but pink is just light red. And I'm going to go really carefully over my worms. Remember, when you're coloring, first we want to outline our shape. Then we go back and forth in nice straight lines until we filled it in. You can also use a tan color for your worms. Outline your shape, and then color back and forth all the way until it's done. I'm going to speed up the video, but you can pause it if you need extra time. Next, we need to color in our food scraps. I'm going to use a lot of colors, just like it says on our learning target. So we could have purple for some berries. We could have green for lettuce and vegetables. We can have orange for carrots. Maybe red for some tomatoes. Oh, and don't forget yellow for bananas. All right. So remember, when we're coloring in, you want to outline the shape first, and then color nice straight lines beside each other to get it filled in. I'm gonna fast forward the video, but if you need more time, pause it. right. Now that we're done drawing in our food scraps or our compostable material, we need to color in our dirt and our worm tunnels. So what we need to use for that, we need to use 2 different types of brown. I happen to have a dark brown and a light brown, but if you don't, all you have to do is just push harder for the dark brown part and don't push as hard for the light brown part. I think I'm gonna make my worm tunnels a little bit lighter than the dirt around them. So the same thing, you need to outline your shape first, then you color it in. So I'm outlining around my worms, outlining my tunnel. Then I'm gonna color it in. I'm gonna fast forward the video. If you need to pause it, go ahead. I'm coloring all the way to the edge of my paper. That's important to fill up the whole paper when we're coloring. Wow, great job! Now, if you want to add anything else to make it look more realistic, like if you want to add some darker dirt clumps, you can do that. Or if you want to add a different kind of brown in your drawing to make it look more real, that would be awesome. All right, guys, great job today. Did we hit all of our learning targets? It looks like we did.
Composting is a really important part of keeping our earth healthy by making sure our dirt is full of vitamins and worms that are healthy. So on this Earth Day, think about some things you could compost and ask your parents if you could start a compost pile.